All right, so today we're going to look at a preview of your car loan payments. The loan formula that you see at the top is utilized to calculate the payment for a car or even a house for that matter. But I've chose to focus on, so you use this formula for both of them. I chose to focus on the car though in this set of notes because there are steps related to a car that have to be done in a particular order. So I wanted to make sure that I really went through that with you. So here's your loan formula. Your payment, if you want to figure out the monthly payment on a car or a home, you would utilize this formula. P is how much you're financing. R is just your interest rate as a decimal divided by 12. And then on the parentheses on the bottom, parentheses 1 minus, parentheses 1 plus, the rate divided by 12, raised to the negative 12 times T. T is time in years as well. Okay. Just a little blurb down below talks about how car loans are calculated in the state of North Carolina and in many states, but how it's different in 7 particular states. In North Carolina, along with many other states, they allow what is referred to as a trade-in credit. So they allow you that if you went to a dealership and you were trading in your car, they allow you to take out, let's say you're buying a $30,000 car, and they say, I'm going to give you $5,000 for your trade-in. They allow you to subtract that $5,000 from that $30,000 before they calculate the tax. So that's in your favor. However, it should be noted there are 7 states that do not allow that particular tax credit. That if you went to buy a car in these states, you would be paying tax on that car first. So you would pay tax on that 30,000, for example, before they would allow you to take out your trade-in. So those 7 states are highlighted here: California. Let's get my pen. California, Hawaii, Kentucky, Maryland, Michigan, Montana, and Virginia. So if you were to travel and move to one of those states and buy, at least that's the way they are now. Of course, laws can always change. So let's move on down here to example 1. Example 1, I've got it set up in a step format. I'm going to do example 1 with you, and then I'll also do example 2, do another one with you, just so you can see. Example 2 will be more like how it would be worded for you on a quiz or a test. But let's first look at it here in a step format. So it says here you want to buy a Toyota Camry, retails around $25,000, basic model. Sales taxes in North Carolina, of course, is 7%. You're able to get financing for 5 years at 2.5%. You make a $1,000 down payment, and you've got a trade-in worth $2,000. They want us to find the monthly payment for our car. So the first thing that you always do, step 1, take out the trade-in from the sale price of the car. So the sale price of the car was $25,000. Take out your trade-in value, and so your trade-in was $2,000. So take out your $2,000, and that lands you at $23,000. That's the amount you're going to pay tax on instead of the $25,000. So that's how that's in your favor. In step 2, it says calculate the tax that you're going to be expected to pay. You're going to pay tax on $23,000. So to figure out your tax would be equal to $23,000 times 0.07. You just put that in your calculator, and you should arrive at $1,610, so $1,610. Now in step 3, it says take the price of the car less your trade-in, so essentially this value right here. Take that $23,000 now, add in the tax. Of course, you got to add in your tax. Can't get away from paying taxes, and subtract your down payment. Right, and you had a $1,000 down payment. This is going to be the amount that you would choose to finance. So if you add and subtract there, you should arrive at $23,610. So that's the amount that you're going to finance. Amount to finance. So now in step 4, it says use that monthly payment formula that you see at the top of the notes here to calculate the monthly payment for this car. So your payment would be equal to your principal that you are going to finance, so the $23,610, parentheses, your interest rate, 0.025, divided by 12, close parentheses, divided by, start a parenthesis, 1 minus, start another parenthesis, 1 plus, 0.025, divided by 12, close it, raise it to the negative 12 times the number of years, and we were doing this for 5 years, so times 5. Close it, hit equals, hit enter in your calculator, And it will give you your exact answer here, $419.02. If your calculator by chance cannot do this for you all in one step, it should be able, most of them can. If it can't, you need to do the top, don't do any rounding, do the bottom, don't do any rounding, and then divide, and then at the very end, do your final rounding. If you absolutely must feel like you have to do some rounding, you need to take it out a minimum of 5 decimal places in those intermediate steps, okay? That will at least minimize the amount of error in your answer. All right, let's flip it over. Let's do one more. Like I said, you're in example 2 and example 3 that you see on this page. This would be more like what you would see on your test, that it's just a blank set problem here to find the monthly payment for your car, and it's not going to talk you through the steps. So here it looks, it says you're looking to purchase a 2017 Lexus RX 350 valued at $30,000. Sales tax, of course, in North Carolina is still 7%. You can get financing for 6 years at 3%. You don't have a down payment this time. So if you don't have a down payment, you just won't have anything to subtract at that particular point. But you do have a trade-in worth $2,500. They want us to find the monthly payment for the car. So the first thing I do is take out my trade-in. So take that $30,000 and take out my trade-in of $2,500, and that puts us at $27,500. Step 2, calculate your tax. So your tax is equal to your tax amount, 0.07 times that 27,500. And that should give you 1925. Step 3, to figure out your principal, take that 27,500, you add in the tax, and then you would subtract a down payment here. The formula says, okay, now you subtract your down payment, but in our case here, we have nothing to subtract because we do not have a down payment, so we'll be subtracting 0. So essentially in this case, you're just saying 27,500 plus 1925, and that's going to put you financing 29,425. Now we're ready for your monthly payment formula. So your payment is equal to that amount, 29,425, parentheses, your interest rate. Sometimes that goofs people up. Be sure you pay attention to the interest rate of the loan, not the sales tax interest rate. So 0.03 divided by 12, close parentheses, divided by, on the bottom, start a parenthesis, 1 minus, start another parenthesis, 1 plus, your rate, 0.03 divided by 12, close it, raise it to the negative 12 times 6, close it, close it. Put that in your calculator and you should arrive at a car payment of $447.07. Now, some things to think about here in terms of, if you might say, well, gosh, that's still too much for me for a monthly car payment. There's a couple of things that you could think about. You might say, okay, well, let me finance it for longer than 6 years. Maybe not always ideal, but they'll let you do like 6.5 years, for example. They'll let you do it longer. You could see if they could possibly, if you might qualify for a better interest rate. That's always worth looking into. You could also put a larger down payment down. Those would be all options to reduce your monthly payment if you really had your heart set on this car, or if you just say that none of that is going to be possible. Then if you can't afford that car payment, then you look for, okay, well then that one's just not in the budget right now. I'm going to have to scale down a little bit, for example. Those are just sort of things to think about. I always, when I'm ready to buy a car, I do all of this kind of stuff behind the scenes, so I kind of know what to expect. All right, so let me know if you need anything. Thanks a lot. Bye.